Hey, everybody, it's Kristen Smedley, author of the upcoming book, What I Can Be Is Up to Me. I am smiling like a big old nerd because I am so excited that we have Justin Bishop in the house. He's in the book. He's sitting here with me. We have been chit-chatting. I completely forgot why we were even in the Zoom. We just got to talking about all things thriving and sports teams and whatnot. Justin, I am so happy that you're with us today and that you are in this book. Your part in it makes it the exciting, fun, and quite frankly, to be perfectly honest, the wait, what of the book. I love those moments where it's like, wait, what did you just say? Yes, Justin is a visually impaired skateboarder. How did this happen? How did this happen?
Yeah, I've been when I was 8, I was diagnosed with RP, but that was before everyone was getting the genetic testing, so they had no idea much about it, and they're just like, "Don't worry about it. It doesn't really affect people until like they're in the 50s or 60s." I'm like, "All right." So I just went on living a normal life. I picked up skateboarding when I was 10 years old, and I got addicted to it, and I just fell in love with it and did it hours every day in backyard driveways, until I was like skate parks, and it was my life. And then when I was 20, I was in a car accident. I swiped the whole side of a wall that I didn't see, and I knew something was going to be up. And then that's when we started getting like the genetic testing done and everything, because my RP was acting different than other people's. And I was getting, most people lose their peripheral first. I was losing my central vision first, and I was never told that was possible. So I was always like, like, all right, I can, check out the side of my, I can see over here. When I was like in my 18, I was like, I'm good, but didn't know that like you can also go blind in front of your face. So so hit a wall. They got the genetic testing, told me what kind it was, and they're like, this one's really, really advanced and it's moving fast. So, move up that timeline. And so from the age of 20 to 25, I was visually impaired. And then at the age of 25, I lost all usable sight like in a week period. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it was really, really advanced.
So was there during that time did you stop skateboarding or did friends say,
I,
"Hey dude, stop skateboarding?"
when I was visually impaired, no, because it was my transportation. It actually became more infatuated with skateboarding because I knew I had a timeline, and so I was
Mm.
like, rushing to get it all done, like skate as much as possible. I couldn't drive anymore, so like I was using it for transportation. But I can like see, I was able to like see. The best way I can explain it was like from 20 to 25, I was like seeing like a stained glass window, like churches where it's like, just blobs of colors. So you can kind of
Uh-huh.
make stuff out. And that's how I was getting around in my early 20s. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, when like the light went away at 25 was when like it was like, all right. And then I stopped skateboarding. It was like a rush of just like everything hitting at once because I was ignoring it for most of my life and just running from it till I was forced to deal with it.
Wow. So you stop when everything goes dark. What obviously you're skateboarding again because hello, TikTok. How many followers do you have on there now? My gosh.
I honestly, I don't check it out. What I know, it's probably over 100,000, but I don't like. If you know how many people are following you, then it might mess with your psyche on what you're gonna post. You might overthink. So I try not to pay attention to that.
It's like a gajillion. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot of people following. I was so excited because I'm like, man, we're working so hard to change perceptions of blindness of people. I'm 51, my generation, the CEOs that are hiring people now. And then I'm watching this younger generation on TikTok. They're seeing you out there with your white cane and skateboarding. I'm like, man, just in TikTok videos, you're changing how this next generation is seeing blindness. That's what I was so infatuated about. But so let me back up to my own question that I went off course on.
very good.
When did you start up again and how did you end up starting up again?
I actually started back up after I got my first job when I returned back to the workforce. My first job as being blind. um, it was my first step of becoming me again. When I lost my sight, I didn't know who I was anymore. My identity was gone. I was trying to figure out like, all right, how does a blind person do this? Or, oh, I'm blind. I shouldn't be able to do that. But once I got my job and I started feeling like me again, skateboarding just naturally came back. I worked around it. I was teaching kids motor skills through skateboarding and social skills through skateboarding, and just being around it, I started just picking it back up, and the love never left. So I just, it was a natural evolution back to my new life as being still Justin Bishop, just a blind version instead of being blind Justin Bishop.
Oh, I like that. You know what I love about that is I would bet if we were to do a poll, it would be somewhere over 85% of people would think that whatever you were doing, like skateboarding, like painting, like photography, I'm thinking of all the things that the people in the book do, whatever you were doing before vision loss, you can't do that anymore. That's the general story that people are putting out there. And you're the perfect example that that's not true. And at Thriving Blind Academy, our big thing is you believe in yourself. That's a big principle of success, and you are who you are. And when you can come back to these things that make you and figure them out when you're either losing your vision or it's gone, that's where the magic happens and where you really start to see success.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the biggest things I tell everybody is just because you might not like it anymore doesn't mean you can't do it anymore. Like I used to paint, it just doesn't give me the same feeling that it used to, because visually I can't see it. So, but for someone else, they still love that feeling, even if they can't get like visual feedback back. And it was just how much did you love it? And just like with skateboarding, I loved it so much that I was, I still got that enjoyment, even though I can't see the board anymore. So it was just an easy thing just to pick back up and look, find out new tools on how I can make skateboarding adaptable to me.
I know, sorry, I know that people are going to have this question on their mind. Skateboarding, like, all right, let's think about, I'm thinking about your videos and some of the things where all of you skateboarders do these crazy things with like going down railings and up and down curbs and then up hills. Do you remember in your mind what these things look like, or is there a way that you map it out now before you take it on?
So yeah, I can kind of remember what like things were, so like what things look like. So my friends will just be like, oh, there's a half pipe over here. And visually I know what that is, but I'll still have to walk it and be like, how wide is this half pipe? How, what's the radius? What's the vert? What's the, everything else. So I'll have to walk it, feel it out. That's how I like skate a lot of obstacles. I feel it out first, walk it, and then I have beeper boxes I use to have a little bit more precision. My cane has a ball tip on it, so that rolls with me. So I'm still using the constant contact method, and then I'll use rope to even give me more precise aim if I'm trying to get a exact type of like railing or stairs that's a little narrow. I'll use rope to guide me to it.
You just so eloquently through all of the skateboarding tools and terms basically mapped out how we should be going at every obstacle. It's there. You figure out what tools you need, make a plan to navigate, and then go for it. That's exactly how we need to tackle everything that comes our way.
Yes. Yeah. I always tell like people new to the world of blind and visual impairments to just, we can do almost everything a sighted person can do. Just be patient. It takes us longer to learn it first all, and then even when we actually get it down, it's still going to take us longer, but we're going to get it if we want it. So just be patient. That's my biggest advice to anyone new to it. Just be patient and try again.
You just completely described my oldest blind son, Michael. He has a level of patience that I rarely see. And one time, you'll appreciate this because you're an adventurous, we learned how to surf when we were out in Hawaii years ago. And he patiently learned the rhythm of the ocean. He fell a bunch of times as he didn't want to rely on the instructor to tell him when to go. He wanted to figure that out on his own. And sure enough, after falling a bunch of times, he figured out the rhythm and he knew exactly when to get up when the waves were coming. And then Miss Impatient, I'm yelling at him. I'm like, tell me when to go. And he's like, I don't understand why you have to rely on other people. There's a rhythm here. And he broke it down for me. And then of course I was like, just tell me when to go.
Yeah.
But he never fell again. He figured out the rhythm and he was phenomenal to watch him surf.
Yeah.
But yes, patience is key.
Yeah, just patience. That's all you need.
Now let's get into this one real quick before we have to wrap up. I know as soon as I start sharing the videos of you skateboarding and this conversation, the feedback from a lot of parents of young kids is going to be, that's unsafe. Why are you telling us to do that? What do you say to parents that don't want their blind kids on skateboards?
It's probably one of the best thing to learn safety. You learn this thing called risk management, and risk management is the most important things to humans. If I touch when I was like a kid and I touch the stove and I get slightly burnt, I know fire's hot. So next time as like a teenager and adult, if there's like a big bonfire, I'm not going to put my hand in it because as a kid, I slightly got hurt. And so I know bigger stuff's going to hurt more. When you're on a skateboard and you're in the beginning, you're going to fall, but it's going to be a smaller fall than when you skating as long as I have, because then you try bigger stuff, but you're going to fall and you're like, all right, don't fall like that. And I'm going to learn how to fall, because learning how to fall is even important. So I think like, yeah. And then learning how to get back up, having slight discomfort in life is one of the most important things to anybody, to have independence. One of the, I always contribute skateboarding. Having skateboarded my life first got me through my blindness faster than a lot of other people, because I learned that you're not going to succeed all the time. Skateboarding's hard. So when I was learning bus routes and getting on the wrong bus, or cooking things wrong and undercooking chicken or things like that, it's all a learning process. And sports that are dangerous teach you that learning process and in a more physical way. So I disagree with people that think it's really dangerous. Of course, wear helmets, wear pads when you're in the beginning, but learn risk management. It's really important.
I love it. Risk management. I don't know if I told you this story, Justin, when we talked before, but, and I wrote about this in the intro of my first book, Thriving Blind, when I was finally facing blindness after Michael was diagnosed, the first conference I went to, as I was walking down the middle aisle to find a seat, literally, this is one of the most amazing moments of my life, that I know that there is something bigger helping me out here than just me. I looked to my right on that side of the conference hall, and there was a girl that was a teenager that was totally blind and yelling at her parents that they had brought her the wrong cookie and she wanted different juice and all this stuff, right? And on my left, there was another teenager, a teenage boy. He wasn't yelling at his mom. He was like whispering, yelling at his mom. They were in an argument, and it was about the fact that he was skateboarding in the hotel. And I leaned in, and she's yelling at him about how inappropriate it is to skateboard in the hotel. And he's saying, but the hallways were perfect for him to practice some of his things. And never did anyone say, you're blind and you shouldn't be skateboarding. When I realized he was totally blind and having that argument, I ended up sitting next to them and I said to them, I have no idea how to raise my son, but I want to have this argument about skateboarding and not about serving him the wrong cookies. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, and then here we are. When I saw you on TikTok and Instagram, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was the skateboarding conversation that changed my life all those years ago.
Yeah, no, that's a good argument to have. Or even with like one that I always had was like, I'd always like miss curfew a little bit, but like nowadays my dad's like, that was a good one, you being 20 minutes late. It's like we have kids now that won't even leave the house, so like I'm glad that like that was the issue. So it is funny, like looking back, like some of the parents are like, man, we had some good arguments instead of like how to get you to leave.
That's the truth. I know. I go back to that kind of thing too with my boys when they were both, now that Michael is he actually lives in Florida and works in Florida, and Mitch is in college. But there were
Yeah.
times when they were both home and they were involved in so many things. And I was trying to figure out how to get them everywhere and manage schedules. And then I would just laugh because I'm like, 23 years ago, I thought they wouldn't have much to do. Now we are so
Yeah.
overscheduled. I love it.
Yeah. 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 It's a good problem to have. So
Well, this
I
has
love it.
been fantastic. I am so happy that your story is included in the book and that you've jumped into this journey with us. It's exciting to watch this thing grow and impact so many people, and it's like it's the perfect time that people are ready for a new story about blindness, and I'm so happy about the
Yeah.
story that you put into the world and that you're including it in this.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I super appreciate that.
Awesome. All right, everybody, there's just a few days left to get involved in the Kickstarter. At last I checked, I think that we were just under $3,000 to go to hit the 20,000 goal, and then we don't have to give back any pledges. We can get this printed in Braille and print in one book so that all first graders can access it. Make sure you go to Kickstarter.com, look up What I Can Be Is Up to Me. And we also added the Venmo-a-thon this week where you can Venmo your donation to @ThrivingBlind. Make sure you check out Justin Bishop on all the platforms, especially TikTok, because I love it. And I love it the most because my 18-year-old daughter can't stand that I'm on it. And it's always fun to annoy her. All right, everybody,
Yeah.
go to the Kickstarter, and Justin, we'll see you again soon. Thanks a bunch.
Yep. Catch you later.